podcast.
It's empty, Gail.
Over, the ball has dropped, and by ball I mean Dan. So you know it's Friday night. It's 8 p.m. It's Snobtober, the first episode of Snobtober, our lovely month. It's also our anniversary month, which if you guys are ready to go, we are super excited. The 6th, this Monday, is the Scene Snobs podcast 6th anniversary. We are super stoked. We're going to do a live marathon all day. I might go live that night. If you're home, I might make you come on with me and go live and just have some fun and talk about old times and movies and everything else in between. But man, we're celebrating a lot this month, man. How you doing, by the way?
Yes. Oh man, I'm doing great. You know, it's my month. It's been great. Numbers at the work look good. I feel good. Everyone's good. Wife's good. It's horror. It's horror time. It's the best time of the year. Yes,
yep, absolutely. And no matter what's going on with you right now, I just want you to know here we want to have you smiling. We want to keep you entertained, not just talking about movies, but talking about ourselves and what we got going on. And, you know, mostly movies, though. We love movies here, especially the horror ones, which we get to watch right now. So it's day 3 in October, or Snobtober, as I should say. What have you been watching lately?
So I decided to do it a little different. So I'm starting a little further back. So I've been plowing through Hitchcock. So last night we watched Rear Window. Tonight I'll be, watching Birds, and then tomorrow will be Psycho. But from there, I'm actually going to move straight to Jordan Peele and plow through his trilogy so far.
Can I throw in a recommendation?
Absolutely.
On Hitchcock. My favorite Hitchcock film is Rope. And
yes,
you've watched some amazing ones, but if you want to fit one more in there, I would recommend Rope if you haven't seen it, or if you've seen it and you like it, you know why. But for all you out there too, it's such a good movie. I love the stage play aspect of it, the one shot, the one shot, but for the most part, it's just a phenomenal film, and I love Jimmy Stewart in it. So, but Rear Window,
yes.
So fantastic. Such a great movie. I've been watching some movies myself, and actually we're going to get to rating those movies in just a second, reviewing and rating those movies. But we have a very special guest on tonight, somebody I love very much, and I can't wait to talk to her. It's been far too long, and that is DonnaJean from DonnaJean's Coffee House of Horror and so much more. This woman knows horror. I cannot wait to sit down and talk to her about everything that's going on, the state of what's going on, convention she's going to, what she's doing, and when what she's talking about with in her interviews with these amazing horror legends. And we're going to talk about all that and so much more. But before we get to that, Paul, are you ready to talk about some movies, sir?
Absolutely am. I always am.
Once we kick that bell off, it's time to get to our reviews. First review up this day is Play Dirty, the new Parker movie. If you don't know Parker is a series of books. He's like a master thief. He used to be a part of the mob. And now I'm taking this from context that I've built up into different movies that I've seen. But for the most part, he's just a thief that goes out, does different heist jobs, things like that, and always gets into some sort of predicament with some weird characters, things. I would think about it more along the lines of something like a Reacher or even a James Bond, that type of scenario, those type of scenarios that he gets himself into and stuff. He's in the world of crime, though. This is the newest movie based on one of the books, Play Dirty. I don't know if that's the book. I did not read the Parker books growing up. I just know of them, and I've seen the movies that are based on them. There is a slew since the 70s of movies based on the Parker properties. Only 2 where Parker is the star. And that was in 2012, I believe it was, Parker starring Jason Statham, and now Play Dirty starring Mark Wahlberg. And what I've taken from this is showing Mark Wahlberg as Parker. He gets double-crossed on a heist, and now he has to get the money back and get his revenge. Little does he know that it was for a greater purpose that he ends up helping. great cast. I mean, Lakeith Stanfield, Keegan-Michael Key's in it. There are so many more. Like this is filled, and it's a lot of action. Shane Black wrote and directed this movie, and he did a great job with it. My only thing is Shane Black is very stereotypical with his characters and his writing, and there's a lot of that in there, and the jokes don't always land. My biggest thing about this movie, where I find it a little bit of well, not even a little bit, kind of quite a setback, is the Mark Wahlberg character. It feels like they're trying to build out a James Bond type of franchise here. They do it with the opening sort of song and the all the fancy visual effects that go with it. They do it sort of like how James Bond did. And it feels like that's what they're going for with this. They're trying to turn these books into movies. I don't know that Mark Wahlberg was the right choice for Parker on this. I did not enjoy his performance. He's very Mark Wahlberg in it. And if you guys know what I mean, like he's the same in almost every movie, especially these action movies. And I always sort of like when we talk about Tom Cruise with The Running, or, you know, other actors, and they have their specialties that are in there and they always show up. And it just always seems to be like some sort of talent or physical feat that these actors want to show off. Like, you know, well, when it comes to Parker, it's riddled with things that you've seen in other Mark Wahlberg action films. And that takes me out of it. It took me out of this great story that I felt like we could have really immersed ourselves in if you had an actor that had the chemistry where it seems like he's a team player. In this, it seemed like it was Mark Wahlberg's setback, and then he just has a team that listens to him. And it didn't gel with me in a big way. And so like with this, I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. Action's really good. Again, the direction's really good. The story is interesting. The heist is cool. But it does get convoluted at times because you are going in different directions. There's a lot of different players in this that are all going after it. It doesn't play out like a James Bond or a National Treasure, things like that, where you can understand who everybody is coming into play in this. Sometimes it gets a little wacky and gets a little out there and a little unbelievable at times. But overall, I think it's an interesting movie. It's on Amazon. If this is their way of building a new franchise, I don't know that it works with Mark Wahlberg. I feel like maybe you should have started it off with somebody who's a little more recognizable, but maybe play into it, maybe get a little younger so they can be in more and more movies as they go on. But we'll see what they do with it. It'd be interesting if they do pick a different Parker and just continue on each time, and you kind of get different stories throughout. But that's just me. But that's my review of Parker. Again, didn't love it, but if you're looking for an interesting action pick, this might be a good one for you. And if you do like Mark Wahlberg and all the other actors that are a part of this, I think you might enjoy it. But Paul, you have any interest in seeing this one?
I do. I just had this week's been a little packed, so I just didn't have time to catch up on movies like I wanted to. I probably will give this a chance over the weekend, but it's got to fit around all my horror movies. So good luck.
I get it. Save it for November then. That's one I could tell you. Maybe save it for November and watch it brand new. Get a little action going. But that's my fair review of Play Dirty, the new Parker film. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Now we're moving on to some horror. We're going to talk about Good Boy. This is a film that is a horror film, like a haunted house film that's told entirely through the perspective of a dog. And it's played by a real dog, Indy the dog. It's Ben Leonberg's dog, who's the director and writer of this film. This is one that you see just the owner and the dog throughout, and whatever the supernatural entities that are going on throughout. It takes place in an old farmhouse. I don't want to give away too much on this one because it just came out this weekend. And honestly, I really enjoyed it. I thought this was a fun story. The dog is fantastic. Now, I was telling Paul earlier, not just dog wrangling, but any animal wrangling on a film set is always, I don't want to say a nightmare, but yeah, kind of. It can always be really tough. So for an entire movie to be predicated on how this dog reacts and works within the film is nothing short of astounding, because this movie does keep you enthralled throughout. It's an easy, digestible 73 minutes. The dog is wonderful. It has the right reactions at the right time. The horror is there. There's a lot of very ominous type of horror, like, and if you know what I mean, like think like Halloween with the stalking instead of the in your face. And then by the time you get to the climax, you are like floored, because now you just want this dog to be okay. You want the owner to be okay. You don't know what's going on. And then you get there and it really throws you for a loop. Now, my biggest setback on this film is the story is being told from the perspective of a dog. So you're getting a lot of the context through background conversations that the owner is having on his phone with different people, or if, you know, he runs into one of his neighbors or something like that. Little context clues are coming out then, but they're a little muffled because, again, you are hearing through the perspective of a dog. You're seeing through the perspective of a dog. But while they're doing that, they are keeping you locked in. There's something happening while these conversations are going on, and the dog is sniffing it out, quite literally. And I just thought they did such a great job on this that it blew me away. And for an indie film that came out in South by Southwest last year and did really well there, and then to come out, it's from IFC and Shudder. It's out in theaters now. Maybe go and check it out. Support this indie film. I think that would be a big help for everyone and everyone out there. I'm a big proponent of indie film and supporting them, and support indie because he is a good boy. I'm not gonna lie. And I give this one out of 3 out of 5 stars. Go check it out. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear it. Again, I wouldn't go into this expecting this, amazing film, but I would say go into this and expect to enjoy it as a horror film, but also as a film that's like following this dog around, and it's an experiment. I love that. Like In a Violent Nature, another one that was like sort of an experiment in filmmaking. This is very much an experiment. I think this works personally, and that's why I really enjoyed it. But yeah, that's my review of Good Boy. What do you think, Paul? You going to go see this one?
Yeah, this one's been on my list for a while just because I enjoyed The Presence mainly just from the different camera angles. I'm all about experiments.
Another one.
Cameras. Yeah, and just experiments from different perspectives that no one's touched. So I definitely, as a dog lover as well, I've been looking forward to this. So I can absolutely tell you I'm seeing this weekend, and I'm excited.
I love it. And I want to thank, we're getting into the show. We're going to bring DonnaJean on. I just want to thank our sponsors of this show, Lustroin, who does custom shades and blinds. We have a link down below. You send pictures of your setup, and they're going to create custom blinds and shades for your home that fit within your decor and what you're looking for. They are fantastic. Go check them out. My wife is all into it. She's been doing it. So go check out Lustroin. It's down below. Again, they're a family business. They do all custom stuff, and they're very cool people. So go check them out. But also it's brought to you by Storie Society on Skool.com, Skool. This is a brand new platform that's being built for creators to come in. There's a monthly, I think it's $5 monthly charge. You come in and you get to not just experience like connecting with other creators and networking and being able to go into the daily labs and stuff like that, but you're also going to get classes. You have milestone peaks where you can meet, and then there's other things and other rewards that go along as well. I'm not explaining it too well, but I'm on there. I'm loving it, and I'm having a good time. So go check out Storie Society on Skool, and it's down below linked as well. But let's get to our guest, shall we? We've had her waiting long enough, and I love this woman. I love watching her show. Again, she's like, I take a lot from her as an interviewer, and I'm not on the same level as she is. So to have her on here and to be able to talk horror, it's been far too long, and I'm so glad she can be a part of it. But let's bring on our good buddy, DonnaJean from DonnaJean's Coffee House of Horror. How are you?
Guys, I am well. How are you? I haven't seen you in so long. You're half the man you used to be.
I'm trying. I'm trying to get there. How you doing?
Wow. I am good. It is so exciting to me that you just reviewed Good Boy. My daughter went to some film festival last year, and the one thing, she called me from the film festival and said, "Mom, when Good Boy is out, you have to go see it." And my daughter is one of those people, as am I, that is very, very sensitive to animals dying in movies. So I knew if she told me you have to go see it, that the dog lives. And in fact, she also said, "Oh, if anybody says anything to you, there's even videos of how much fun the dog was having when they were filming it." So,
oh yeah, they do such a good job. I do not like watching any animal get killed in a movie, especially a good dog like that. Like, breaks my heart. I think it breaks all our hearts. We can admit that. But it's one of those things. And
I do. a lot of indie interviews. And I'm so sorry to cut you off. I kind of feel like we're pressed for time. But I did an interview with Alok Mishra about his movie One Bedroom. And in it, a cat ends up being killed hideously. And Naomi Grossman was on the interview as well. So as soon as they came on, I was like, that cat scene. And then, look, it wasn't a real cat. It wasn't even a stuffed cat. It was just like a big thing of stuffing, you know. But it was like, I talked to them and I recommended them about the cat. But
oh yeah, you know, Naomi Grossman, by the way, fantastic person, and she was just in Him, a brand new horror film that just came out, which is fantastic.
In fact, that's Alok just responded on Facebook about seeing that. And I responded to him and said, oh, I have to see that. And I said, you have to go see it this weekend, DonnaJean, because it probably won't be out very long. So I just happened to be chatting with Alok and mentioning Naomi because she's in it. And that woman's amazing. She's just a beautiful human being.
And she looks different and everything. Like, she really does make up well and puts together these great characters. So that's fantastic. Now, speaking of horror actors, we're going to get into our top 5 first before we get into our main topic. So it's top 5 horror countdown of horror actors, because again, all of our top 5s and everything are going to be horror themed this month for Snobtober. But we're going to start with number 5. The way we go is we all go with 5, then 4, then 3, then 2. Of course, we always let our guests start us off. So, DonnaJean, who is your 5th?
I have to say, this was so hard for me because I have so many that I love. It was also so hard for me because, Mick, you know me. When I talk to somebody, I am as interested in the human being as I am about what drives them to do what they do, whether it's acting or a stuntman or writing or in art. And really, I've been doing interviews but volunteering at conventions for so long that I can't tell you how much of me is influenced of them as an actor by them as a human being. And so since this is my opinion, you'll get both. So my number 5 is, most of my people are kind of like the stodgy old classic people of my generation. And I don't know if you want to know my whys, but I'll just give you his name. Would be Kane Hodder.
Sure. Kane Hodder. Yeah, tell me your why. I would love to hear it.
My whys primarily is, first, I will watch, and this became kind of my trigger. If I see somebody's in a movie, do I want to see it because they're in it? And with Kane, that's yes.
Nice.
I mean, really, believe it or not, some of his movies are actually some of my, I'm not feeling good, I think I'll kick back and throw in one of the Hatchet movies. Nice. Because they also have humor in them, you know. But Kane is somebody that I can't separate out how I feel about it from who I am. I was in a coma for 8 days 7 years ago, and they didn't know if I'd ever wake up from it. And I did. And when I did, my brain was different. My memory was kind of like blah. I used to be able to detach from things and look at things from an observation type of way. And I can't do that anymore. So it's kind of like all heart and who I am, and everything I see comes out my mouth. And fortunately, most of that's nice. But I also had to relearn how to walk. And Dave Hagen sent me a text and said, look, I know you're not well. Why don't you throw some sweats on? Come see your family at Monster Mania. And I did. And I was on the walker, and I had my friend with me who was a nurse. And the first person I saw was Kane. And Kane and I knew each other from me attending conventions. But Kane took my walker and put it aside, and he picked me up. And I have that picture on my phone still. And he just said, look, you've already been through cancer. You've lived with this diabetes. You don't let this stop you. You just keep going. You just keep doing this. And that's when I knew, that's when I started volunteering for conventions, but that's when I knew that Kane was also family. And I'm actually in the process with Adam Marcus right now, trying to set up doing an interview with he and Kane for Jason Goes to Hell, because the documentary of that is just being released now. And I'm excited about that because I'm a Hellion. But everything like about Kane has done, like, there's so many things in my life. The one time I was at a convention and I was on break and my husband called me and I was talking to Kane. He said, "Oh, pick it up." And he picked it up and he said, "Hello, this is Kane Hodder." And my husband's like, "What the hell?" There's so many things that he is like. I would just say to anybody, if you watch a Kane Hodder movie and the movie is not any good, just watch Kane, because Kane is always good.
Yeah.
You know, he always has me enjoy the film, even if the rest of the film is not up my alley. So, because sometimes I think they all do films that are like great films, and then they all do films because, hey, I need to pay the rent, you know.
That's fair.
So,
I love that. That's a great story. Thank you for sharing that. That's fantastic.
I'm so long-winded. I'm sorry for that.
You're good. Paul, what do you got for 5?
Number 5 is Daniel Kaluuya. I mean, Get Out.
Newer one. I like it.
And Nope. I mean, it's my background. You already know. Like, I love seeing him on screen in horror.
It's a great choice. I love it. My number 5 is Tom Atkins.
Tom was kind of on my, should I put him on my list or not? So
I love Tom. Yeah. So yeah, he made number 5, but I think for good reason when you hear the rest of my list. But let's get to our next one. What's your number 4, DonnaJean? I'm gonna call you DJ this whole time because that's what I usually call you.
You know, actually, Kane Hodder calls me DJ, so you'd be in good company.
That is good company.
My number 4 is Dee Wallace, and I don't think I even need to really describe why, because Dee Wallace. I mean, everything from E.T. to The Frighteners, you know, just like she's still in indie films, you know, every time you turn around, just the woman is amazing. Plus, another one of my stories, she was at a convention that was like 20 minutes from my house, like a couple months ago. And 2 days a week, I work caring for adults with intellectual disabilities. And one of our guys was in the hospital, and he's somebody that's a movie buff. So I went up to the hospital room, saw him and his folks, dressed in my convention gear. I ran out of the convention. I saw Dee. I told her why I came up there, and she wanted to do a video, and she did a video for him saying, and she said his name, which I don't want to say just because of HIPAA. And she just said, "I'm so glad that you're doing better." And I had shared with her that he always says that every day is the best day. And she said, "I just love that you say every day is the best day." And then I sent the video to his mom, who showed it to him in the hospital.
Oh,
that's my Dee Wallace story.
She is a fantastic human being, and she was on my top 10, but she didn't make my top 5. But
the top 5 is hard.
Great choice. Great. Yeah, I know there's so many, and it's like I could put everybody on here. Paul, what's your number 4, man?
My number 4 is going to be Mia Goth.
Nice.
Yeah. And all the Pearl and X and all those, I was like, I mean, she's great.
I know that you're 2 new actors. And you do not have the same new actor as me. So there you go. No overlap.
Yes.
And I have all the older ones, so it's we are a good, pretty rounded, well-rounded.
Yeah, this is working out. I knew you were going to come with some good ones, and you're shocked, and like not shocking me, but like, oh man, I didn't think about that. You know what I mean? Like one of those. My number 4, rest in peace, Tony Todd. I mean, not just like everybody thinks Candyman, but I mean, 2 franchises in Candyman, 2 and Final Destination, but countless other horror movies he's shown up in TV shows. Night of the Living Dead, which he was great in.
Hatchet.
Oh yeah, everything. And even as one of his last films, Stream, which you know, he did a great job. You know, it was a small part, but he did a great job. And you know, and he did great in the last Final Destination film that just came out.
Yeah.
Too, so, you know, rest in peace, man. But he's my number 4. He had to be on the list. DonnaJean, DJ, what's your number 3?
Number 3 is actually one of my favorite human beings in the world, and that's Linnea Quigley. And Linnea Quigley is actually, I quote her a lot when I'm talking to people about my show, because Linnea said to me, "Your show is not an interview show; it's friends talking." And I loved that. But I mean, really, she's also one of those people. I'll see she'll be in something and I'll watch it. And even if the movie is not the best, she is so fun to watch. But come on, Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody else could be trash. And everybody knows that scene. So even if it's not for how I personally feel about Linnea, although she and I talk about animals almost every day, we text. But as a human being, she's just stellar, amazing. But also, I mean, she set a standard in that film and her performance of trash, And so there she is.
I'm curious. One, just so you know, there's a sequel to Return of the Living Dead coming out again, starring Devon Sawa. This should be out soon, so everybody check that out. Look for it. But what is your favorite Leanna Quigley movie?
It's Return of the Living Dead.
Nice. That's a great choice.
I mean, followed not too far from Night of the Demons. But I've watched a number of indie films with her in them as well. But nothing, in terms of the movie, nothing holds close to Return of the Living Dead. But that's also one of my favorite movies. So it's kind of, what would hold close anyway.
If it isn't that, it's probably Night of the Demons for me.
Yeah.
I do love Night of the Demons. She does a great job in that too. So.
She does. That whole movie is just so creepy.
Oh my God, it is. Paul, what you got for me for 3?
Number 3 is going to be Boris Karloff.
Very nice.
He was kind of one of those. Should I put him on my list too? So
nice. I mean, he's one of the masters. I will say my number 3 is a newer actor. I think is fantastic, and she's been in tons of horror movies. Samara Weaving.
Yes.
Okay. I think she just every time she shows up, she does an amazing job in the movie, and the movies are good. She does like Ready or Not's great. The Babysitter, even the second one, which was a little more convoluted, but I dug it and I liked her in it. So
yeah, she was still really good in it.
Yeah,
right. I totally agree. Good choice.
Nice. Well, DJ, what's your number 2?
Lance Henriksen. Because how could he not be?
I know.
I mean, Aliens, Near Dark, Pumpkinhead, and that's just not even touching the base. I mean, he himself is just amazing. Yeah. I love when he's at conventions and I'm working there, because I'll be sitting at Monster Mania. I always work with the VIPs, and at all the other conventions I work as a handler. So wherever it is that I'm working, but usually at Monster Mania, because the VIP table is usually out in the public area. And he'll just be walking around, standing there, reading signs, like chatting people. Hey, you got a cigarette? I had somebody come up to me and say, I can't believe it. I just had some old guy ask me for a cigarette, and I realized it was Lance Henriksen. I mean, that man, he just hangs out with people. He's one of them,
Such a great story.
Awesome.
Amazing guy. I love his movies so much, and that's a great choice. Why didn't I think of Lance Henriksen? See, you're gonna make me kick myself. Paul, what you got for 3? Number 2. Sorry.
Number 2 and number 1 were tough, but I finally put number 2 as Jack Nicholson.
Okay. All right. I like it. You were so into The Shining. God.
I know. It's a problem. It's a good problem. It could be a worse problem.
It's a good problem.
What do you think of how he was done in Dr. Sleep? In the director's cut, when they have oh gosh, and I can't even think of his name right now. My brain.
Oh, from what's it? From
Haunting of Hill House.
I can't think of his name now. He played Elliot in E.T.
Yeah, he did. I thought. Did you think he served that well in the Nicholson shoes?
I think he did.
I did
as best as he could. I
think he served the
almost wish they had
better.
Right.
Yeah, I just wish they had pulled the footage from the original Shining, just showed that again. To be honest with you, for that scene in particular, but that's just me.
You're right. I really enjoyed it, but that would have made it really ideal.
Yeah, I didn't mind it as much because I knew they were trying to go with the character. I liked Alex Esso as Wendy too. She did a good job.
I did too.
Yeah, and I think I gained more favor from both those actors in Doctor Sleep after seeing them other Mike Flanagan stories like his shows and stuff. I love Midnight Mass and was it the Midnight Club and stuff like that. Like it's so when they pop up, like it's always fun to see, and I really appreciated that. But so I didn't mind it. Like I said, it was not Nicholson, but he did a good job with the character at least because you were never going to top Nicholson.
No.
Right. My number
I didn't even think Nicholson could go back and do Nicholson.
No, definitely not. Even for that one, that a lot of that we have to say is like, yes, he was an amazingly talented actor, one of my favorites.
Right.
But how much of that was Kubrick's direction too?
Kubrick.
Like, it was such an off the wall. My number 2 is Boris Karloff.
Yeah.
So like we've named some pretty heavy hitters. Now I'm anxious to see what our number 1s are. DJ, what you got for me?
Well, my number 1, what made it to your list, is Tony Todd. Nice. I how much of it is influenced by him, the person, because Tony is always a gentleman to people, and I actually am very, very good friends with his sister. In fact, she calls me Mama Donna.
She is such a lovely woman too.
Oh, Monique Dupree is talent and beauty is in that family, and so that's not why he made my number 1 list, because I really think in terms of all of the roles that he does, he just, all of them, he completely became those characters. But that he himself my husband actually asked him. My husband doesn't usually go to conventions with me, but he went to one with me some years ago, and we were talking to Tony. And my husband's a Star Trek fan, and he asked him about the Star Trek role that he played, and he said, "Would you like being in a show about that character?" And Tony said, "I'm a character actor. And if I play a particular character too often, I get tired of them. So I enjoy just doing, the same characters, but here and there." And I thought, wow, it was a pretty cool response, because it wasn't saying, no, I wouldn't want to do that. But it was doing justice to all of the characters he's played,
Yeah. And he does. I remember he played Worf's brother Kern on it. Like he did such a great job. Like he was so good in everything, and he popped up all over. And he could do it not just in horror, but in everything. So like that's a great number 1. I love that. What is your number 1, Paul?
My number 1 had to be Vincent Price, man.
You know what? Let's just my number 1 was Vincent Price as well. So like I like every time I think or see Vincent Price anywhere, it's the type of horror that I love. It's that spooky, kooky horror that I just have always enjoyed, and I can watch any one of his movies just to get comfortable and relax and watch something that makes me feel good. I
actually have a list that didn't make it to my 10, and that was Vincent Price, Doug Jones, Harry Dean Stanton, Tilda Swinton, and Brad Dourif. But Vincent Price was on the top of that list that almost made it into the top 5.
Heck yeah.
Great choices. The only other one I would say almost made it, but I really wanted to put Samira Weaving on there just to show her some love for all her was Peter Cushing. I loved Peter Cushing in a lot of Star Wars fan as well, but all the Hammer horror and such. He was just
the Hammer horror.
I know. We need to do an episode of that, Paul.
Yeah.
I love Hammer horror. But yeah, guys, that's our top 5, and we hope you enjoyed it. But I
enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was a good time. I'm glad, and we're all different except for Vincent Price and Boris Karloff. But they're Vincent Price, of course, was our king. But just great choices all around. But it actually gets me thinking, and I wanted to ask you this question, DJ. And what do you think about the state of horror today? You know, you talk to so many actors, you know, from the past. Like, how do you feel about horror movies? You know, especially this year and past couple of years.
I think with Terrifier 2, it opened the doors to a couple of things. It opened the doors, first of all, to a brutality kind of gore that really hadn't happened before. And I have to admit that while I absolutely love the Terrifier movies and love the Terrifier group, and in fact, David Howard Thornton was the second interview I ever did before I was calling myself the Coffee House of Horror. Mm-hmm. And I remember saying to him, "You're so nice." Like, it was like so shocking to me. But it opened up the doors for that, but it also opened up the doors for indie horror to be recognized as something.
Yeah.
And I think with that, and maybe I'm unaware of a lot of the other things going on because I'm just me. I just do what I do in life. And I don't know really what's happening in the big world out there in life with the big movie theaters anymore, with the big movie companies anymore. But it does seem as though the doors are open so much more to indie film. I'm afraid with the state of the economy that there's so many now that there could be a problem. In a way, it's like conventions. People have to pick and choose which convention to go to because there's so many of them right now and they're all good. Or people have to pick and choose which of the indie films to support. But I think it's opened up the doors for people to go places that they really hadn't been an audience or a known audience before.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of the horror and the gore. I myself, my favorite horror is like ghost stories and monsters. I'm so excited to see The Good Boy because I'm so excited to see the dog's perspective.
Now you actually might know him, and he's in the movie. He plays a small part in the movie, but it is a really good influential part. Is Larry Fessenden, the indie filmmaker he's been around forever. He did like Wendigo, he did The Ranger, things like that. Like, he's been an actor, but he's also he's I've always appreciated him since we're talking about indie. He was a guy that never left the indie scene. He was always like a punk rock indie horror filmmaker. And I always appreciate it. So when he showed up in Good Boy, and it's such an experimental movie, I was like, that's cool. You're kind of paying homage to the real indie, to the, you know, and nothing against anybody else, but we do get a lot of studio indie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that, you know, those to me are sort of, I guess I don't want to call them a cop out because it's still hard. There's still filmmaking going into it and such, and I can appreciate that, but it's not the independent spirit that I love.
Yeah,
for sure. And that Good Boy had that, though. Good Boy had that feeling, and I think it's because like I can respect companies like IFC and Shudder, which seem to be, you know, regardless of AMC and stuff like that. I will give it to AMC. They do seem to respect the horror genre.
Yeah, that's
whether it be TV or movies. As a big conglomerate owned by Bezos, I don't care, but Shudder, I do feel like, is run and is really making things in their original programming that are often indie based. Like they, you know, they're such a small like backing there. Like these movies, they're buying them over at, you know, film festival and such, as we know. But it's like they're getting the movies or making the movies that horror fans want to see, and it's refreshing because there's new takes or it's experimental in some way, and I appreciate that. But I can't wait for you to see that. Please tell me what you think.
I will. I'm actually really hoping that I can see it sometime like in the next few days, the next week. I do have to throw this out because I feel like I need to, because I absolutely respect and love Damien Leone, and one of the interviews I had done with them before Terrifier 2 was released, because once it was released, I couldn't get hold of him anymore, you know, but I had mentioned to him, like, Oh man, Damien, I have to admit, I had to shut my eyes for all of the kills. And he laughed and said, "Oh, so does my mom. Don't worry about it." So I kind of felt like, okay, I'm in good standing, like with his mom.
Yeah.
I am so much myself into character development. Like I can watch a movie that takes half the movie developing the characters and then come to care about the characters, or even sometimes not care about them and be terrified of them because of how you get to know them. So I'm so into character development. And so really I'm kind of excited about what Damien has coming for the next Terrifier film.
Mhm.
First, because Sienna, who I think is such an amazing character, and Lauren Lavera has just like given life to her.
Mhm.
Like I'm excited to see where she goes, but also that he says you'll get to know about what made art, what's Art's background. So I can't even imagine what would be Art's background, So that to me is worth looking forward to seeing.
And it would be a good flex of the acting muscle for his name's running away from me, who plays Art.
David. Yeah.
David Howard Thornton. He's so quiet and he's not really talking anything. So I'd like to see what he can do if like it brings Art back to the days before he was the undead clown we all know.
The first interview I did with David, he actually he's done a lot of vocal work, and he talked like a chipmunk for some animated thing. And I was like, "Oh, can you do that?" And he started talking like this chipmunk. I sat at home and kept rewinding that and looking at it because it cracked me up so much.
I love it.
And talking like this chipmunk. It was just wonderful.
He's a talented guy. He really is. And I can't wait to see more from him. I know a lot of people had said that, if there was ever a Nightmare on Elm Street remake or something, he would maybe be a good fit. I could see it. But I want to see him talk. That's the thing. Like, because Freddy's a talker. So like, and I think he could pull it off. Don't get me wrong. But I would love to see like a part that kind of leads him to that, Otherwise, you might have to put him as like a Michael Myers.
If he has to, he's big on karaoke. So if he's at a convention and has a chance to do karaoke, he will. So he's not like, Art is silent, but David is not.
That's why as soon as you said that, I'm like, that took me the right way. That was funny. Just the fact that he's all into karaoke and he just plays silent characters. How you feel about that, Paul? I know you're a fan.
I think I want to hear him sing karaoke. I'm not gonna lie.
If you had to sing karaoke with Art the Clown, what song would you choose?
I'd have to probably go something like really basic, like "Don't Stop Believing," because it's the only song I could probably know all the words to. Because I feel like I'd fanboy out a little bit next to him, so I'd have to do a song that's in there.
That is a terrible choice for a horror icon. No, I love it. I'm messing with you. What about you, DonnaJean? What song are you singing with Art the Clown?
Oh man, I wish I could remember what it was that he was singing there, and I just can't. But I think it was at like a New Year's Evil kind of thing, nice. That everybody was staying over, and I cannot remember what it was. But and I don't even drink, and I can't remember what it was. But
that's okay. I can't remember after breakfast.
I'm not even sure, but I don't do karaoke because I can't sing.
I can't either, but sometimes I will do it. I'll tell you, it would probably be "Bodies" by Drowning Pool. And I think Art, that's probably his favorite song. That's a good one. And now you do a lot of conventions, like where you're working. You're very well known in the convention circuit and such, especially the horror convention. How did you get started in working in conventions? Is it just something you were attracted to?
Well, it's the first conventions I ever went to. I'm 62, just to put it in perspective. And the first conventions I ever went to, I was an original Star Trek fan when I was growing up, and they had the reruns on. So the first conventions I was aware of, and I lived on Long Island at that time, and I went in 7th and 8th grade to Star Trek conventions, and it was the original members and the one like they had like the stage was like the Enterprise, you know, and it was just really, really cool. And then like life goes on, and I had my daughter right after I turned 18. So, you know, there wasn't like a lot of money to be doing this, that, and the other thing and going to conventions. But I ended up having cancer in my lung 15 years ago. And my husband, he and I had just set our wedding date. And 2 weeks later, I was diagnosed with cancer. So we got married on Monday. I had part of my lung out on Wednesday, and we had our wedding a year later, which was the date we had planned. So while I was recovering from, first of all, then my daughter's going to art school. So my daughter's going to art school. She's an illustrator. She's 44 now. When she was in art school, she and I started going to Monster Mania because she was going to school in Philadelphia. So we started going to Monster Mania, and that was just so much fun. And we did that like twice a year. And then when I was recovering from the cancer, my husband said, hey, you know, there's these Walking Dead conventions, because he got me into The Walking Dead, which was a really nice distraction for me recovering from lung surgery because it was a painful experience. So I got really into that. And he keeps saying now that he's responsible for me doing all these conventions. And he really is. Because when we went to the Walking Dead convention, and it was the Walker Stalkers, and it was just all the Walking Dead people, I was like, yeah, okay, this is home. This is all right. So then we started going to the local ones, and we started traveling and going to them. And then he kind of realized it wasn't his thing. And then I had my coma thing happen. So I was still going to the Monster Manias, and I was going to the Walker Stalkers. And
I knocked over my mic and hit the thing. That's okay. Blunder. I love the story, though.
That's really how I started going, was the combination of my daughter being in school and her growing up. You know, when she was in like junior high, we started watching, you know, we watched the Frighteners, that we knew that all by heart. And we watched Army of Darkness, and we knew all that by heart. So she had a love of horror because of me. And then between the going to Monster Mania when she was in school, and my husband getting me hooked to The Walking Dead, it all just kind of came together when I had that after the coma thing, and I haven't stopped. How I actually started my my show was I was working as a handler for Nathan Basil, and behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. And I was sitting with them and Angela Goethals, who I just have come to love. And in fact, David's son, Noah, was working as Angela's handler on the other side of the table. And I was just hearing all these people talking to Nathan. And so many people were saying, and that's one of the movies that I would recommend to people to see if they haven't, especially if they haven't seen horror. Watch Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. So many people were coming up to him and saying, how did I never see this before? You know, and I loved it. And I asked him, like, would it be okay if I interviewed you so people not here could hear what you have to say? But it wasn't really, like, I didn't think of it as being just an interview. And I brought it home and showed my husband, and he said, you're really good at this. So I went back in that same weekend. I interviewed David Howard Thornton for the first time, and Felissa Rose. Yeah. And it just really, Felissa is somebody that has become such a good friend. You know, every so often I have to text her just to say, I love you. And she texts me back and says, I love you. And it all kind of started at this little convention that we all just connected. And I kind of think a lot of people feel that way at conventions. They feel kind of like the freak out in the world until they run into their people. And not to say that we're all the same. And, you know, some people like Freddy Krueger and some people like Jason. But I've never seen those two people argue about them. I'm going to hit you, you know. That just doesn't happen.
But one thing I love about your show and like you said earlier, and it is your interviewing style. And like I've even like for me, I'm not putting myself on your level, but like with interviewing, watching your show, especially early on doing the Snobs podcast, was very influential for me because I learned how to make it more conversational. And that's where I dove in. I was like, I want it to be more like that. I want them to be part of the conversation, not part of, not to be the spectacle of it all. Cause I know a lot of times that doesn't really gel with a lot of people. So you do that fantastically. Like and anybody go check out the show for sure. Which is on Nerdbox, a plug. And we had Dave on last month, and he's a fantastic guy as well. But, how long have you been doing your show now?
It started before COVID, because at that point I started doing the interviews and David and I hooked up. We actually hooked up at a Monster Mania. And honestly, my thing is I care about people. And I like to allow a space for people to talk about something that they want to talk about. Mm-hmm. And I'm good at that. Almost everything else I suck at. It's like I'll trip over my own feet. I'll plug something into the wrong outlet. David is just Mr. Like, I can't do an interview until we find a date that works, because he runs the background program stuff, because I just can't figure it out. And honestly, I don't really try to figure it out because it'll confuse me and I won't get it. And he does it so well. So he's kind of like that magic behind my side of it. Like, we couldn't do it without each other. And we started doing interviews, and then COVID happened. And when COVID happened, it was actually David's idea. Let's start doing interviews online. And then we tried, and then before Nerdbox, it was Women in Horror. Mm-hmm. And we were trying to show films, and I would ask people if they could introduce them. And it was wonderful. The people, we had Dave Hagen, the owner of Monster Mania, introduce the movie, and he wanted a Hammer film. And I we had so many people that have really great choices, but Facebook just kept shutting us down. And Kane Hodder even introduced Hatchet, and Victor Crowley or Hatchet. I think it was Hatchet. And then the first 3 minutes, there was vulgarity and they shut it down. We had people trying to watch it, So it was like, oh man, I'm so sorry. So really, one thing led to another after COVID. And when I was first doing interviews, oh my gosh, Monique and I would talk for 2 hours, and David would be like, okay, we need to cut this into 3 parts. We'll do this as this part, this is this part. And he was so amazing that way, really. And I needed to learn how to take time elements and just say, okay, we're going to take this amount of time, so.
You do it so well. And Dave is a great producer. Like, I see his stuff, and so he really knows what he wants and his vision for things. So you guys are killing it over at Nerdbox. I really do appreciate you guys and the content you're putting out. Now, with the conventions, I thought it would be fun if you could give us maybe a maybe no more than 10, but however many you want to do, tips for people who go to conventions. What do you think they all really should know?
First, different conventions can be very, very different. Generally, I love, and I work at all the Monster Manias. As long as they'll have me, I will love to be there. I love what I do when they have me on with the VIP table, the skip the line table. I've had people cry. I've had people tell me that somebody in their family was just dying. I've had somebody tell me they needed to stop drinking. I mean, the connection you can make with someone in 5 minutes, I can't even explain. And it's such a gift. Yeah. Monster Mania is a huge show. And so that's going to be a very different experience than if you go to a smaller show. I also love, and I work at all of the Fright Reads now. And Fright Reads is just had its 5th show. And we didn't have a huge crowd, but it was a lovely crowd. It was an amazing crowd. I had the good fortune to work as Beatrice Boebel's handler, and I love that woman.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
Mom. And it's just so really, whether it's a big show or a small show, there are a couple things that people would want to kind of have in mind. First, wear comfortable shoes. Sometimes I see some of the people that come in cosplay, and it's amazing and it's beautiful and it's gorgeous, and I don't know how they stay on those shoes. And it's kind of like, wow, you know, if you're going to do that, my hat's off to you, but you want to have another pair with you that you can put on when your feet start to hurt, you know. So wear comfortable shoes, because if you want to stand in line for David Howard Thornton now, or for Robert Englund now, or for Alice Cooper, you're going to be standing in line for hours.
Yeah. Yeah, especially at Monster Mania Con. Like, I can't believe it's going on 9 years that I have not been to a Monster Mania Con. I've gone every year since 2003. I need to go back. And it's nothing against Monster Mania Con. My best friend was diagnosed with cancer. We went last time in 2016 and 2017. He was diagnosed, and he just couldn't go to the crowds.
Oh yeah,
just going through chemo and such. And so we stopped going. Since he couldn't go, I was like, you know, I'll sit it out. He was my convention partner since like '99, so I was like, I'll sit it out and such. And then he passed away in 2021. I just never went back.
Yeah,
it was one of those things where like kind of a mental block. But I want to give like such a big plug for Monster Mania Con, and they're doing quite a few now. Like I've always been to the ones in Cherry Hill, and then when they did Hunts Valley later on, I started going to those as well. It is such an amazing convention. It's packed. It's a lot of people, but there's always some great vendors there.
Yep.
And the celebrities that they have, the guests are fantastic. And you know, I see your pictures there since then, and it always makes me feel good, like it's still happening and it's still there. But yeah, that was one of the conventions when I started podcasting. That was one of the first ones we covered, because we were going anyway. Nice. I remember William Sadler was there. That was his first convention. And I remember we were looking at it, and he had all Shawshank Redemption, and we were like, "You don't have any Demon Knight?" He was like, "I don't think anybody would like it." We were like, "People like it. Trust me. Here, they would love it." Get the Demon Knight.
Well, there are 2 Cherry Hill shows a year, but there's also, and I love Hunt Valley. That was actually my favorite location for any convention ever. I loved that show, in part because the Skip the Line people, we had this little cubby, this table that was kind of like in the wall. So we actually had our own little area and section, and it was so nice. Yeah. But I really liked the hotel. But they tore the hotel down. It's no longer there. But they now have one in Baltimore and one in Oaks, Pennsylvania. And the one in Oaks, Pennsylvania is at an actual convention location. Nice. So there is a lot of the people who had difficulty with the physical space in Cherry Hill seem to be very comfortable in the Oaks show. And they have a really huge room, and all of the guests, all of the celebrities are in that huge room. And then there's just vendors, and they also have tattoo artists. So, and that's in November. They have an X-Files reunion. So I'm just like, Gillian Anderson's going to be there.
I know Robert Patrick, who's been phenomenal on Peacemaker, and he's on the Tyler Sheridan shows, and he's been doing great with Tulsa King right now. So I'm super stoked for that. I actually want to ask, kind of pivoting a little bit with your show, what have you got coming up? Is there any new interviews coming out, especially with Halloween around the corner?
Well, I just was messaging with Adam Marcus about the Jason Goes to Hell one. I'm waiting to hear back from Kane, but I don't know what his schedule will be like. But Adam also said that if Kane can't do it, we can bring on the producer. We can bring on, I'm kind of hoping maybe Stephen Williams. So we don't have it set up. I want to say, and I did actually want to talk about this a little bit. I haven't done any interviews in a little while. I had some life things going on, some health things going on, some cat cancer things going on. And when I was going to start to set something up, we couldn't find a date that worked for everybody. But David and I were talking, and he was concerned because I do have a lot of health issues, and he was concerned about me getting burned out with just life. So we've opted that I'm going to start to do one show a month. We're thinking probably the last Friday of the month it will go live, because we always tape it ahead of time, because David puts in pictures and film and all kinds of great things, that we will air it on the final Friday of the month and call it Final Girl Friday. And if it's a guy that I was interviewing, then I'll be the final girl, because I am. And I'm excited about that. So I'm kind of hoping that we can make this all happen to happen in October. But if it can happen, and really I'm kind of pushing and hoping for this, because the making of Jason Goes to Hell is just being premiered right now. And I think it would be such a great time for Adam to get that word out, to be able to tell people about it, to be able to get some of the behind the scene out. So really right now, I don't have anything set up, but I have a number of people in my mind that I want to ask, but I don't want to ask them and set it up until I know if this one is going to be set up yet or not. But I did talk to a friend of mine, and he's actually works at all of the Monster Manias as well. He works as a handler and has for a long time, and his name is Barry Huntsberger, and Barry is going to work with me as a co-host sometimes. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And in fact, Barry is one of those people that I always hope. He's tall, he's a big guy. If you see photo ops of me in Monster Mania, you probably see me and Barry. Nice. And it's like we'll go in, and Judge Reinhold, and he just said, "Hey, Judge, how would you feel if I just lay in front of you and you, DonnaJean, put your feet on me?" And he was like, "All right." So I have a I love that. Went like this, and we both have a foot on him, and so that's Barry, and I think it will be fun to have him on board.
That's fantastic, and I love that. And Final Girl Friday is a fantastic idea, and I can't wait.
It really suits me, and I'm sorry that I got distracted from the giving people recommendations about the conventions.
No, you were doing great. I mean, please, feel free if you want to continue on.
Comfortable shoes, but I also would want to say a lot of people get really annoyed or upset that the conventions won't say how much the autographs are going to be. And the reason that is because the convention doesn't set the autographs. Basically, the agents and the managers do. And we have seen it happen. When I say we, I mean anybody who's worked at a convention has seen it happen, that somebody has an autograph price. They look around and someone else has $10 more. So they go and they change it. And so if the convention advertised it as being $40 and someone comes in at $60, they're going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Even though it's not the convention's fault. So just to be aware that that's the reason why most conventions won't do that, unless they actually get it from the cost from the agent and the manager. So come in, try to have an idea. If Robert Patrick there is, Gillian Anderson is there, if you only have $80, which one of them do you want to get? If you can get them both, that's great. But have a list of priorities of who can you afford to get. I also always tell people, because this is what I do, only bring as much cash as you want to spend and don't take any more money out of the ATM.
Smart.
Because that will be, if you can afford it, take out more than you think you'll spend. But if you spend it, don't take any more out. Because that's a good, kind of a good trigger for yourself.
Great advice on that, for sure. We've all blown through our bank accounts at conventions. That is a great advice.
If you can bring, I always have a bag I call my convention bag. Now I'm a type 1 diabetic, so I have my insulin pump and I have my glucose monitor on, so I beep sometimes, but I always have emergency candy with me. It never hurts if someone can, if they have room, have some kind of a snack with you, because even if you're not prone to low blood sugars, you still can be prone to, if it's really hot, you can be prone to, exhaustion. Have some kind of a snack. If you can, have a bottle of water, because sometimes it's expensive if you can find anywhere to get it.
Yeah, well, if they don't run out too, like sometimes these conventions are so busy, it's hard. You never know how much you're going to have.
And the ATMs do run out of money too. So
very fair. Well, I wanted to, as we go on, I want to thank you for being on. I always love talking to you, and you're always welcome to come back whenever you want, because I know we can always talk horror and just have a good old time.
Oh yeah.
And you are just one of the best people I know. You're always positive. You're always kind. You're always sweet to everyone. You've always been sweet to me and very helpful as I go on and such. And I just always appreciated you, DJ. You know that. But I did ask you before, and I'm really looking forward to this. I love this, but I asked you for some recommendations for us and our audience.
I'm
what
excited.
do you got?
I actually have two sections. I have my movie recommendations of regular movies, and then I have my indie film section.
I love it.
So you may be familiar with some of the movie recommendations of that I would have, and I tried to put ones that I thought kind of your average or horror fan may not have heard of. And I don't mean by that to say that people that I'm exposed to stuff they're not. I don't mean it by that. I just mean I'm older, so I've had more time to watch them. So the first is actually one of my favorite movies. And if anyone asks me, because I'm a type 1 diabetic, I go to a podiatrist regularly. And my podiatrist always wants a movie recommendation now. And I've been giving him this one ever since I've been seeing him, and he hasn't seen it yet. And it's actually a Korean horror film from 2003 called A Tale of Two Sisters.
Oh, I've never seen that. Oh, sweet.
Seen it, see it. It's a psychological horror film. At the end of this movie, you will realize that you need to watch it now, because what you saw is not what really just happened.
All right, I'm in. I love that. And I love Korean horror films.
So please tell me if when you watch it, please tell me what you think of it. Because I honestly, I really think every horror fan should be made to watch this movie. If you don't mind subtitles. Some people have trouble with the reading, the dyslexic or whatever. I don't mean anything by that, but it is such a good movie.
I'm into it. I don't care about subtitles. I watch foreign all day.
The second would be one that perhaps some people are familiar with. Huge John Carpenter fan. John Carpenter's The Thing is like one of my favorite movies of all time.
Fantastic.
But this is also a John Carpenter film from 1994 called In the Mouth of Madness. And in my mind, In the Mouth of Madness is the closest thing that a movie has ever come to H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah.
So
agreed with you. That's great. And in fact, just a cheap plug from my part, classic film review we just did In the Mouth of Madness 2 weeks ago. Go check that out. Yeah, I love that movie.
Watch it.
That's a great choice. They both. I can't wait to see the other one too. Tale of Two Sisters.
Everything about how Sam Neill in that movie is perfect.
I can't think of the actor's name. He was the bad guy in like Beverly Hills Cop 2 and such. He plays Sutter Kane in the movie, and he is a menacing. Jorgensen, I think his last name is. I can't remember.
So too.
He was so menacing in that movie, just truly great. And you're right.
And you just like this
I have one for you at the end.
Where like she wraps her head around the back of his head and these creatures are coming out of it. It's like,
I need to watch that. It's so good.
So the other one is that I mentioned earlier is Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. If anyone hasn't seen that or is new to horror, please watch that. I mean, Nathan Basil was actually the only movie he was in. And he was perfect. He was the perfect Leslie Vernon. It was just amazing. And Angela Goethals, how could anybody not love Angela Goethals?
Yeah,
I do. And Robert Englund's in it. Scott Wilson, Zelda Rumstein, Kane Hodder has a cameo. Fun little ditty that it came out during an interview I did for Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, I asked Kane if he would surprise them by sitting in on it, and he did. And one of them talked to him about when they were filming it. He's only in the one scene in the beginning. He's going to open the door. That they hadn't told the people they rented it from. I guess Kane was only supposed to go to the door, not go in. And he did. And the people that lived there didn't know he was coming in. So, I mean, how perfect is that?
That's great.
And then I have one non-horror movie that I feel like I really need to recommend.
Okay.
Because not a lot of people seem to be aware of it. It was actually, it was a 2004 movie that was directed by David Duchovny, and it's called The House of D.
Oh my God.
It's starring Anton Yelchin and Robin Williams. And have you seen it?
Mm-hmm. I love that movie.
Erykah Badu singing from in this jailhouse. If anyone can't see it.
She's this beautiful spiritual character that just Anton Yelchin in that too is phenomenal. That is Robin a Williams. Great choice.
I mean, Robin Williams.
Yeah, and it's such a beautifully dramatic, but there's this camaraderie in it that just it gives you like a lull of like. When you're watching it, you feel, and I'm sorry to step on this, but I love this movie, and I never hear anybody recommend it, and I'm so glad you said it because it just like popped into my mind how wonderful that movie is. Paul, if you haven't seen it, watch this movie, House of D. It's so good.
And let us know what you think because
absolutely,
really,
I'm excited.
It's especially because how did it fall under the radar? I really don't understand. Even just with Anton Yelchin, I mean, just with what happened to him, you'd think people would have talked about it. So
you know as well as I do, though, in the early 2000s, there was not a lot of respect for indie films.
That's true. That's true.
They were there, and there were some phenomenal indie films coming out. And I'm not, there was no shortage of them, but Hollywood, I mean, has never been a big, proponent of it unless they were buying them. But now more so, I think A24 is like forced Hollywood into let's find obscure type of indie films. But God, that movie. And I'm not trying to oversell it. Like, it's not one of my favorite movies, but as an independent film with the actors and the content, the story itself, like, keeps you, completely in it. Well, that's such a great choice.
Playing this man with intellectual disabilities and the relationship with him and the boy that Anton Yelchin played, how perfect they were together and how much it made you want to cry and laugh and make everything okay for them.
I know. Oh, God.
Okay, I'll move on to my indie film list here.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Actually, all of these are people that I either know and or have interviewed. Well, if I've interviewed them, I know them. So that was silly. The first one has actually become one of I have this little list of movies that if I'm not feeling well, if I'm sick and I'm laid up in bed, that I watch. And this one has become on that list. And it's called Driven. And it was directed by Glenn Payne. And it was written by Casey Dillard. And Richard Speight Jr. is in it. And up until David Partenio set up this interview for me, and I was like, I'm going to interview Richard Speight Jr. I'm a big Supernatural fan. The only people I knew that knew about it before were Supernatural fans because Richard Speight Jr. was in it. It is so good. It is just so good.
So, you know what? I was thinking of the wrong Driven, so I'm definitely down for this. I can't wait to check this one out.
Oh, I'm looking forward to you seeing it now too.
I liked Husk. I guess Glenn Payne directed Husk as well. I did like Husk, so like I'm into it. I really that's cool.
He's really in fact, when I did the interview with them about Driven, they said that they were on such a limited budget because of being an indie film and not having a whole lot of money, that some of the things they would have liked to have done they didn't do. But one of the things that they said they would have liked to do, and I don't want to give anything about it away, is these beings or creatures kind of take people over. And they said they would have liked to have had more time to show that those people actually didn't die, that they were still okay. They didn't kill anybody off. And I thought, oh, how thoughtful that was, just something as small as that, Okay, so my next one you mentioned earlier, and it's Stream by Fuzz on the Lens Productions. If anybody hasn't seen Stream, go check it out. We're called like starring Jeffrey Combs, Danielle Harris, Tim Reed, Dee Wallace, Felissa Rose. And it keeps coming, David Howard Thornton. And then at the end, and this is what did it for me, was Tim Curry. Just such a Tim Curry fan that anybody who hasn't seen it, please go see it. It is accessible. It is available. The other, I actually have two that are both done by Slasher 15 Productions. And that's basically Dave Kerr, who's the writer, and Amber Fulcher, who is also his wife, does all the special effects, or at least does the majority of the special effects. The first is The Slasher Nurse, which is recent.
Watch that movie because I die. So.
You die in the movie?
Yeah, I'm the one who gets the axe to the chest.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
so,
yeah.
Actually, this hat still has the bloodstains. I'm wearing it.
And see, I didn't even know that. How perfect is that?
Now you're gonna have to watch it again and see me die.
I will. I love that movie. I am such a fan of Slasher 15 and what they do because they have such a product. And there's such people. And the whole group of people that they had, of which I didn't know you were one of them.
Oh, no. I love Dave. I love Mike and Amber and Jamie and everybody. The whole team is amazing. This man is definitely a slasher 15er. He's worked on a few of the films. Awesome. I was just very fortunate to be invited down, be a part of it. I don't think they consider me a part of the group, but I do love them. I think they're all.
If you're in it, you're a part of it. For the movie, anyway. But I mean, Felissa Rose and then Dave Sheridan, let alone their whole group of before that unknowns, like Michael McGlynn, Chandra Rawlings, Rick Germain, Matt Burns, who has a hands in everything. Matt Burns. But, I absolutely love Matt. Matt and I actually work in harmony with a lot of things. If he has a show he's starting up and it's within a couple hours of me, he says, "Can you come work as a handler?" I'll be at the show and he'll be like, "Oh, there's a panel. Can you go host that panel?" And I'll just be like, "Okay."
Matt Burns is one of those people, like if he asked me to promote or do like anything he needed, like I would for him, because like he's that guy who's always had my back during all of this whenever I needed it. Even when I had low points, he'd always check in on me. He's going to be on the show actually on the 17th. I think he's going to be on that episode. Yeah, he's going to come on. So I'm looking forward to having him on again. I'm so glad you said Matt's name because I think he's a producer in horror on it, behind the camera, and actually just in conventions, things like that.
Oh my gosh, he gets
deserves credit
for conventions. He starts up conventions. In fact, I'm so honored. And I don't really know how it happened, but I'm very grateful for it. I've had a couple of people contact me and ask if I could connect them to get into shows. And Tara Richardson, I have her name. I hope that I'm doing her name justice. Who was in Silent Night, Bloody Night, contacted me and said someone given her my name to get her into shows. I got her in touch with Matt, and Matt had her in fact, when I was working with Beatrice Boable, she was right next to me. Tara was right next to me, that Matt got her into that show, and he was also a guest there. So there's this wonderful little family thing that, and I completely trust Matt. Matt doesn't have an ill intention for anybody.
Mm-mm.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, he really does. He deserves all the credit. Like one of the best people I know, and also just one of the hardest working producers I know.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't ever believes me when I tell him that, because we'll talk about when I was a producer and we'll talk about things and such. And I always tell him like, man, I worked in Hollywood for years. You work harder than me. ever. Like you are always going, like you need to know that. And like I do that to tell him, like, because he's always like down on himself, like I don't think I'm doing enough. I'm like, man, the things you're doing in the horror community are so important. And I'm not trying to oversell it. He really is just that guy. And he always stays behind the scenes. He doesn't care. Like he just, and like he deserves that credit though. He's fantastic.
I'm looking up the name of the of Tara because I want to make sure I give her right name if I'm talking about her, because she's just started doing conventions and she's so surprised. She's so humble and she's so surprised that so many people are excited that she's at the show. And they're like, look, I've got the Silent Night, Bloody Night poster. I need you to sign it. Everybody else has signed it. And it's just so cool. So
nice.
Make sure I got her. I'm going to type this. I'm sorry that
You're all good. That is, I love that. That's a fantastic list of recommendations, though. I mean, and anybody write these down and go check them out. They are all fun. They're all fun for this time of year, especially. And House of D is one you can check out at any point. That's just
man. And then I just have one more. But I just want to make sure I get. Let's see.
Yeah, it's one of those where
Tara Buckman, not Richardson. Tara Buckman. Tara Buckman is awesome.
I love it. Go check out Tara Buckman.
Mom of the Santa Claus killers, and she's just an amazing. She's just such a beautiful human being. So, okay, so my last one is actually a documentary, and this was done by Brandon Salisbury, and it's George A. Romero's Resident Evil. Now, I'm not a gamer, but I'm a big George A. Romero fan. In fact, I kind of give the genesis of my being a horror fan comes from the fact that I was probably about 8 when I accidentally first watched Night of the Living Dead. And it stuck with me. It just stuck with me. And I'm honored and I love to say that I'm good friends with Jim Crut and just with a number of people, George Demerick, all of these people who Brandon goes in and he's interviewing them and they're talking about Romero. I had no idea that George A. Romero was involved with the film and that they were going to make it into a movie. I had no idea. And he backed out of it because of things not working out the way he wanted. But this film is so fascinating. People are talking about Romero. They have like tears coming down their face because of how much he meant to them. And this movie is just so worth seeing. My daughter, well, actually my son-in-law is a gamer. My daughter's an illustrator, so she has a lot of familiarity with games. And I lent it to them. And they both really liked it and said, wow, I learned things I didn't know. And I loved it. And again, not even being a gamer, but being a Romero fan. If anybody has a chance, check this out.
Yeah, and Brandon's a really nice guy. He actually commented along and he says he had very, of course, sweet things to say about you. And we appreciate you stopping by, Brandon. He's a nice guy. And that documentary, watch it. Seriously, it is a fantastic documentary. I love George Romero. And when he was made, it took quite a few years for him to get it, together, piece it together, and then put it out. And I remember following along with it as it was going. And once it came out, it was just like, it was exciting. It was something because like George Romero did touch so many lives.
Yeah.
I think we all have sort of stories about him, and he was always just a wonderful human being.
I think it was first announced at Creature Feature, and that's one of the conventions that I work at. All the Creature Features. I love that show.
Yeah, in Gettysburg, right?
Yeah, well, it's in Gettysburg, and actually, it's having a new one in November in Scranton.
Oh, nice.
And in fact, Lee Waddell is going to be there, and he's a good friend, so I'm going to be working as Lee Waddell's handler. But
cool.
So so that it is really good show. Craig puts all of his heart and soul into that. And they're just good people, and good people putting on a good show doesn't get any better than that.
Well, I know if you're telling me it's a great show, that it's definitely a great show because you are one of the main reasons, I think, for me, like when I've shown up and I've seen you at stuff, like it's always just a pleasure. And I can't wait to see you again. And I need to get out to Monster Mania Con and just come see you.
Dude.
I'm not even worried about all the celebrities. When it comes to you and them, I'm going to stop by the vendor tables.
Also, always set up a vendor table, and that way we can hobnob all weekend.
That's true. Yeah, get the scene snobs out there. Okay, maybe we'll do that.
I'm actually wearing one of my my friend Buzz Hassan, who is a tattoo artist. He also does all the Monster Mania shirts. Did this logo for the horror convention and event group I run. So wearing my Buzz horror convention and event shirt. So
we're gonna make it bigger so we can see it. There we go. That's awesome. I love it. That's a cool shirt. That's a cool design.
I think so too. I actually asked him if I could hire him to do it, and it was just like, well, I'll just do it. I don't want to tell people that. I don't want anybody to expect them to do stuff for him. But
I wish you were at Carolina Fear Fest these past few years, so that way you could have been with us, helping us out, because you always been so fantastic. But when they come back, we're gonna get you down. But
well, I have to get a Scene Snob shirt so I can wear a Scene Snob shirt out. I actually
then I'm sending you one.
I actually figured out, like, I was gonna wear. I have a T-shirt for the one Slasher 15 movie Go Away, and I was looking for my Go Away shirt when I came across this one. I was like, oh, okay.
I love it. Well, DJ, I want to say thank you so much for coming on tonight, hanging out with us, giving us some great recommendations and stories. This was so much fun. I really always have a good time talking to you.
I do. We should do it more often.
Yeah, absolutely. Come back on. Come hang out. Shoot the
I
shit.
would love it.
But we are going to let you go because we're going to start closing out the show. But I want to say thank you again for coming on and hanging out with us. You are one of my favorite people. And when you signed up for this, I was super excited. And I'm glad we got to do it in Snobtober, as we call it here. But thank you again.
Let me know what you think of A Tale of Two Sisters.
Yes, and Good Boy. You let me know what you think of Good Boy.
I'm really hoping I can talk. My husband is only off work Mondays, so I'm really hoping I can talk him into it.
I think he'll like it too. I think you both will like it. Even if he's not a huge horror fan, I think this is one that he can enjoy. And it's easily digestible and such. So we're going to let you go, but I want to say thank you again. You are amazing. Go check out Final Girl Fridays, either starting in October or in November, but it's coming. And you're going to want to go and check out DonnaJean's Coffee House of Horror and all the amazing interviews she's done over on Nerdbox. I tagged below. Go check them out. They are fantastic. And Nerdbox itself has great shows as well. So, but tell them we sent you. we get 20% off. DJ, we appreciate it. Take care. That was so much fun. I have such a good time talking to her. And she's so knowledgeable. Yes. She really is. And thank you, Brandon, for hanging out and commenting along too. And go check it out. Go check out George Romero's the George Romero documentary about Resident Evil. He did such a great job, and it was such a fun, interesting story. I didn't even know she was talking about, because I'm not a big Resident Evil fan. No, I shouldn't say not a fan. I'm not a big Resident Evil player. So gotcha. I don't have I played it back in the day, PlayStation 1, and so, yeah, it has been a long time for me, but I know it's such a big deal for a lot of people, and that it's worth it. But Paul, it's that time of night, my friend, and we're gonna get to. It's usually mixed movie picks, but today is Sturdy's movie picks. And from 1995 and 1991, I think we're gonna have two fun ones. And Paul, you need to check these out if you have. It's The Mangler from 1990 our Does It Suck pick, and of course Cape Fear from 1991. I'm sorry, The Mangler's from 95, Cape Fear's from 91. I didn't change the graphics. That's my bad. So it's okay if you're listening to this podcast, just pretend I did. But Cape Fear is directed by Martin Scorsese. It's our classic film review this year. The years are right on that review. Don't worry. And it is a really menacing horror thriller, and with Robert De Niro playing a great job. It's a remake of the 60s version. Great movie, starring Gregory Peck and Robert Mitchum, who were both in this movie as well. Nick Nolte and Robert De Niro pick up where they left off with the two main roles. But The Mangler stars Freddy Krueger himself, Robert Englund, and it's based on a Stephen King short story. And it is a bonkers movie. Ted Levine's in it from Silence of the Lambs. Monk, you might remember him as Stottlemyre from Monk and stuff. He plays the cop in this, and it is. Have you ever seen this, Paul?
No, I haven't. I wrote it down just because
I really want you to watch this movie.
Okay.
And I want to know
a lot of movies to watch now.
I know, but I'm going to keep you going and keep you having fun with them. So if you haven't had a chance to check them out, I definitely say these are 2 movies you should, for sure, check out. And that's my choices for this week. You can go check out my reviews over on, again, Does It Suck for next week, and Classic Film Review for next Friday. But let's get to my favorite part of the show. Not really, but it's one of them. Is Film Definitions with Mick. And I take my film definition book and I pick something out at random. And I'm going to go with horror film. How's that? It's a long one, but I'm going to go with it. Oh my God, it's so long. It's like 3 pages. I'm going to go with the first paragraph of horror film. Horror film. A genre of film that seeks to cause fright and even terror in the viewer. The term horror, which is applied to all works of this genre, means an extreme feeling almost to the point of revulsion and disgust, or some cases, like us, love and endearment. And itself does not caused by something shocking. So that the term itself does not precisely apply to the classic works of the genre made in the earlier years, though it certainly can be accurately applied to some of the films, more recent and violent films of the genre. The horror film offers the occasion for all of us to see all kinds of frightening events, to feel something of the same fear and terror as the characters on the screen, sitting safely in the audience that ultimately no harm can happen to us. I like that. I actually like where that ended. I'm going to stick with it, but it is a little bit longer. So if you get the book, you'll be able to check it out. But do you agree with me on the on that beauty of the horror genre, sir?
Absolutely. Yeah. How could I not? It doesn't go deep enough, but it's almost there.
Oh, it does. It does. There's like 2 more pages left. I wasn't going to read them all. I wasn't going to make that happen to you guys. But it's definitely, like, there's so much more to say. This is a wonderful genre we love. And we're going to be celebrating all Snobtober long. But, of course, I do want to mention the Family Drive-In. The Family Drive-In is hurting right now. They're trying to, the people who own the land, which is a real estate company, is trying to sell it out from under them. They do not care if the new owners want to keep this drive-in around. That's been around since 1956. It is a phenomenal place, and it's in Stevens City, Virginia. You get to go, it's out in the farmland, so it's nice and quiet. You get to go listen and watch the movies. It's always a double feature. Sometimes they do from dusk till dawn marathons. It is worth it. And I want to see it saved. I want to see all cinema saved as best we can for the cinema that's worth it. And drive-ins are. That's a piece of Americana that when it goes away, it's going to devastate us all. So we're doing a charity event. We're going to be doing a script read on October 18th. We'll all be a part of it. And it's going to be our Casters for a Cause charity script read. We've done these before. It'll start at 7 p.m. And we're doing Lethal Weapon 2. I'm super stoked for Lethal Weapon 2. That's going to be a fun one. I want to make you the captain who just yells at us all the time. That would just be fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'll just get drunk and just yell at you guys.
I'm not upset by that. That could be a fun. We'll make you drink every time you mess up a line. Oh boy. Every time. Yeah, but no, we want to save the Family Drive-In best we can, and all the proceeds, it's going to be their website for collection, so it will all go to them. We're not taking any piece of that or anything. We want to help them out and bring awareness to this. But if you can spread the word and share it out, please do. We appreciate you. And that'll be coming up on the 18th. I want to say thank you again to our sponsors, Storie Society on Skool.com, and Lustruman, who does custom shades and blinds for your home, and they do it to your style and to your decor and what you're trying to do. So thank you to them. Now, Paul, before we get going, my friend, do you have anything you'd like to add? And what's a horror movie you think everybody should check out? We've been telling you a lot to watch.
What's what you think we should?
Don't be basic.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be basic. And I'm trying to do one somebody hasn't seen, which makes it even harder. You know what? I'm just going to say Hell House, because I feel like not everyone has seen Hell House. First one. Start with the first one. please. I mean, past that, you know, I got to keep it horror themed if we're going to be motivational. I'm going to be real with you guys. So this week, be like Jason, you know, just keep coming back even when life knocks you down. So we're going to be like Jason this week, you guys, and keep watching him, keep listening, keep loving the magic of movies.
And I love it. I love it. That's a great advice. And as always, and that is also, be like Jason. Be relentless. Never stay down. Even if they chain you down to the bottom of a lake, never stay down. But thank you guys so much for joining us, hanging out with us. Please hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell so you know when other shows like this, our film reviews, we do other live streams. Like we're going to be doing a charity event. We do gaming, things like that. We always love having you be a part of it. So hit that bell, comment along, let us know what you think. Give a like to this video. That is a big help for us. Like that helps us get into the algorithm even more and people get out there and see what we're doing. We love doing this. We love movies. We know you do too. So join us on the Snob Nation. You can follow us at The Scene Snobs everywhere else. All of the movie reviews that we do come in, short, cute, quick reviews over on social media. We have our full reviews here on this show, and we do others as well. And we all do written reviews over on Letterboxd, so you can follow us there at The Scene Snobs. And you can follow us over at Substack, where we have them as well. Thank you guys again so much for joining in, hanging out with us. You guys are awesome. I want you to remember to take care of yourselves because that is so important, especially this day and age, tough times, and we appreciate you for just being a part of it. If you want to support us, go over to our Patreon. You can sign up. Like $5 a month helps go back into the channel, and or you can sign up for free, and you can get our more stuff over there. But thank you guys again. Until next time, everybody, remember to take care of yourselves. That's important. Follow for more, subscribe, the whole 9 yards, but most importantly, stay spooky this Halloween season and be kind, rewind, and we will talk to you very soon.